What's up, everybody? Rob Gill, Epic Financial Strategies, and we're just bringing it today. My man Eddie Gartner. What's up, E-Money? Dave Harder.
Man, brother.
By the way, he stopped smoking, just so everybody knows. He stopped smoking. Major shout out to Dave. And listen, what the hell are you doing with your money in the bank? Get it out and put it to work. It's earning less money every single day. And by the way, you're getting taxed on it. What are you going to say to all these people out there that got money in the bank?
I think you're crazy, right? If you're if you're just letting your money sit there, and every year that those dollars are worth less and less, right?
But you know what? Listen, in fairness, there's people that are scared.
I get it.
Right? So
I get it.
Let's be serious right now. So,
Right.
so we know that there are certain people that are just conditioned to save. And by the way,
Yes.
the saver is better than the non-saver.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
But what about the person who's just so scared and they're feeling fear that like this is all I have, and you know if I put it somewhere, the money is just going to go away.
Yeah. I understand that fear. I think the challenge lies for a lot of people in just the unknowing, right? The economy's going crazy or it's not going crazy, right? We just lived through a global pandemic. We're coming out on the other side and people are screaming transitory inflation, hyperinflation, you know,
Potential deflation.
all of these things.
Lots of inflations.
Yeah. All kinds of inflation.
A lot of that, in my mind, comes down to them just being scared and not having somebody to talk to.
That's right.
Right? Not having a planner or somebody to coordinate their ideas so that when they are making a decision, it's based on logic, math, and science. And to your point, Rob, you always talk about people understanding their investment philosophy. If they don't understand their investment philosophy, that's why they're sitting back scared right now.
You know, I think that a lot of times it's, well, where do I deploy that, right? And I think it's so easy to lose attention to your investment philosophy, a lot of times because it hasn't even been defined, right? You know, and it's not something that you typically do on a Saturday night. You know, you don't sit around the kitchen table and say, hey, honey, what's my investment philosophy look like, right? So, but it is so unbelievably critical because fear and greed will always push markets or really push any type of financial decision making that you're going to make. And in times like this, where it's, okay, we just came out of a global pandemic, right? I want to deploy money. I have fear that if I do deploy that money, that I'm going to put the remainder of my financial livelihood at massive risk, and I'm never going to be able to retire, let alone retire at some point in the future. What's the easiest thing to do? Not make a decision, right? So they say fear without work means that you're dead, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, from that standpoint, the first step in putting in the work is having a conversation with a team, right? To have them guide you through identifying your investment philosophy. Is my investment philosophy and my tolerance to taking on risk in line with how I'm positioned currently, right? Do I need to have some money liquid in the bank, or are there better alternatives to getting yield on that money in the bank? And then further, have I defined what the purpose is of that money that's in the bank? What's it supposed to do? What's its optimal outcome for me? And it's at that point that you can deploy money away from bank strategies into, you know, things that are actually going to produce yield.
Right.
Yeah, those are empowering questions that people should ask themselves. I like that idea.
Right.
I think that's tremendous.
You know, I think we have the benefit of knowing that there's other tools out there, right? Tools that we use and employ with our clients to help them get that better yield with a measure of safety. But Dave reminded me of something when he was talking, right, about fear and greed moving markets, right?
Absolutely.
And how many people now come to you and want to know about dodgy coin?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Right?
When he
Like-
said greed. Yeah, like if you have 100,000 in a savings account, don't take 50,000 of it and put it into dodgy coin or some cryptocurrency.
One of the 10,000 cryptocurrencies that are
A lot
out
of
there.
people come to it, yes. I always come from the place of history doesn't repeat itself, but it may rhyme. And what do I mean by that? Let me go back to '08 real quick, where, you know, the world almost shut down.
Yeah.
And the government printed money, but they called it quantitative easing. Right?
They did.
And they filled the pothole in the superhighway of the economy that the meteorite hit with money that was printed. And because rates were so low that since that time in '08 till, right before the pandemic, I'll just focus on the Dow, it went from 6,500 to 29,000, right? Over that 12-year period, 11-year period. We were heading into a recession, and this is going to answer your question. We were heading into a recession. COVID hits, sped it up and then some. And then the government printed another $4.5 trillion, except they called it a stimulus. Same thing, same exact concept. So for anyone that has money that's in a savings account, I'm not an economist, and I'm not saying the market's going to skyrocket. But what I am saying is I understand your fear of not getting in because the market's at an all-time high. But the question I think you need to ask yourself is, if there was $4.5 trillion printed, where's it going to go? Now, to your point, Eddie, back in 1999, when I was getting haircuts, the guy, and this was during the internet bubble, the guy that was cutting my hair used to give me stock recommendations, and they were going from 3 to 400. My internet stock recommendations were going from 2 to 20. So I began to question myself, wow, this guy's unbelievable. But then that was the beginning of the end, because then the internet's blew up a couple of months after that. Here's my point. I'm not saying Dogecoin is going to blow up or not. Right. I'm not saying cryptocurrency is going to blow up or not. I do believe that, every 100 years, the money dynamic in this country changes. Yeah. And I think the last time it happened was right after World War II, right? They changed the whole structure of how money was. I think crypto is here to stay. There's no question about it. Right. But if you're going to do overall planning, and if you're going to really sit down and make sure your professionals are on the same page for the benefit of you, make sure there's a very small percentage of that money that's going to be allocated towards that overall piece of planning.
Right. So you may want to know, where should I be putting my money if not in the bank, right? And so some of the areas that we kind of look at are, life insurance has great guarantees, right? It has guaranteed accumulation value. It also has a lot of the life insurance we use pays dividends, right? So that's a really nice place that you can sit your money without a lot of risk attached to it. If you're a retiree, another place you might want to look is, what are those dollars doing in the bank? Because there's fixed annuities that really carry minimal risk at all, and will give you a guaranteed percentage, maybe give you some real upside potential to it. So a lot of different things people could do.
Yeah, and just real quick, and just to add to that, and Dave, feel free to jump in. I think that Eddie's really talking about the insurance planning side. And if your insurance planner is tied to your wealth manager, your fiduciary, it could complement anything that you have going on the wealth management side.
Absolutely.
And so if you want to learn a little bit more around the insurance strategy as an enhancement on the yield on your money, and you want to have more definition and get more education on not only this strategy, but other strategies that we're recommending, we're talking about with clients every day, click the link below. We've created a financial freedom roadmap for our clients, where it provides education and content on financial decision making that's empowered, in ways that you can create wealth and maintain and distribute wealth to its maximum ability.